as we further descend into the death spiral of fascism in this country, Donald Trump, the tip of the spear of fascism in this country. Now, again, this is a week-old clip, but, I'm watching it now in the context of Nancy Pelosi's assassination attempt. But again, this is about a week-old clip. But I want to say something about, just right-wingers. They're just dumb motherfuckers, and they lie on purpose. They lie on purpose. Now, again, I want you to understand, right-wing hypocrisy does not matter, right? Saying, oh, you said this, but you believe that. That doesn't matter to a right-winger. Right-wing brains do not follow logic, right? They don't even have the same language that we speak, right? When they think of freedom, they think of restricting people's access to healthcare. When they think of freedom, they think of not letting someone, be outside at a restaurant that they want. That's when they think of freedom, right? When they think of freedom, it means, making other people's lives terrible. That's their, again, we don't have a shared language with these people. But a lot of these motherfuckers, they love free speech, free speech, free speech, free speech. Well, again, this is the leader of the Republican Party, and I'm going to play this clip here in a second, but I want you to really understand, hypocrisy is a tool. It is a weapon, right? When someone says something hypocritical, your brain wants to fill them in on the logical inconsistency. As a logic based person, right? I interact with the world and form my opinions based on a logical understanding of the world, right? When I see things that are when I see someone say 2 + 2 = 20, right? It's somewhere deep inside me. I want to correct them. And that, Republicans know that. They know that logical thought, dictates that people want to help others reach that, level of logic, right? And they weaponize it. And that's why I need you to understand weaponized hypocrisy is dangerous, because we spend all this time trying to correct them and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We need to spend that time knowing how to defeat them. So anyway, this is Donald Trump advocating to arrest journalists. Let's check this out. Free speech.
Easily made public. In this country, they leak all over the place, even on the Supreme Court. By the way, you have to find the leaker of the Supreme Court. You have to find the leaker. You know how you find the leaker? They'll say, oh, this is treasonous, what I said. So they can't find the leaker. He leaked all about Roe v. Wade. Look, this person leaked from the Supreme Court, never happened. You know how you find? But they don't want to mention this because they think it's so terrible.
This guy is I don't know, it's like that fucking, you ever do a lot, just something that really stimulates you, right? Some sort of drug, and you just, it's verbal diarrhea. This guy's like, Roe v. Wade. The leaker! We gotta find the leaker. They leaked. Can you believe it? They leaked Roe v. Wade. They leaked it, and we must find the leaker, right? But anyway, it gets worse.
From the Supreme Court, never happened. You know how you find? But they don't want to mention this because they think it's so terrible. You take the writer, because you're never going to find it. They're going through phone records. It's been a long time. You take the writer and...
Okay, so again, I just, doing this in a transcript, right? Let's put the transcript on here, okay.
They're going through phone records. It's been a long time.
Okay, this is the closed caption is terrible. So, find the leaker, go through the phone records, takes a long time. Again, these words, they don't even string together any sort of coherent sentence, but...
You take the writer and or the publisher of the paper, a certain paper and you say, who is the leaker? National Security. And they say, we're not going to tell you. They say, it's okay, you're going to jail. And when this person realizes that he is going to be the bride of another prisoner very shortly, he will say, I'd very much like to tell you exactly who that leaker is. It was Bill Jones. I swear he's a leaker. And we got him. But they don't want to do that.
But real quick, I just want to talk about, do you remember all of these fucking, we're talking about, the lowest of the low.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
We're talking about, like that, like the IQ goes through the earth and then comes out of China or some shit. That's how low we're talking about. These low IQ fucking Neanderthals that like said that we got to vote for Trump in order to because he's going to free Julian Assange. Does anyone remember that shit? Does anyone? They still do this. That the Republican Party is the party of free speech. So we got to vote for them so that Julian Assange will be freed. Like I like these like how did Republicans become the party of free speech when this is the shit that they do? They advocate to kill you if you're black and if you have an interaction with cops. That they want you to die. If a cop sniffs you slightly or you're on their radar, that's a death sentence for the Republican mind. Free speech though, right? We have a right to bear arms. Unless you're black, then cops can murder you, but we're in favor of freedom, right? Oh yeah, freedom of the press. We want to be able to say whatever we want without the liberal establishment censoring us. By the way, I want to arrest the journalist who said something I didn't like. But again, it's on purpose. Right, I need you to understand, there is no fixing these people. Now, again, obviously, the goal, right, should be to de-radicalize as many people as possible. But the more important goal is to stop the leak. Not the Supreme Court leak, but the IQ leak. Plug up the holes. Now, imagine if your ship is sinking, right? Yes, you want to get the water out of the ship. But more importantly, you want to plug up the motherfucking holes, right? We are still at a point in society where so many people are getting further and further radicalized to the right based on disinformation, based on poor material conditions, based on an opposition party, the Democratic Party, that's just perpetually weak and cowardly, right? We're at this point where, like, again, there's so many people getting dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. Every day, people are getting fucking dumber in this country. Every single fucking day, people are getting dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. How do we go about fixing this? I don't know. I wish if I knew, then I would be a superhero, I guess, but I'm not. So I don't know what to tell you. But again, we don't share a language. Like, this is, again, like, and now, I know a lot of people use this argument against immigration or whatever, but just understand what I'm saying. We don't share a language with these people, right? And they're not going to learn. Like, Republicans do not speak English. They speak Republicanese, whatever you want to call it. Words have different meanings, right? Like, you know, like some languages have the same word, but in one language it means something else, and in another language it means something else, right? That's what we live in America. They don't speak the same language that we do. How can we communicate? How can we de-radicalize someone if they don't understand what we're even saying? If it sounds like we're speaking like Japanese to them, how can we possibly de-radicalize them? I am asking, like, what do we do about this? What do we do about this? I don't know. Now, again, I think like mandatory re-education sounds good in theory, but it's not going to work. There's too many stupid motherfuckers. Could you imagine cheering, and laughing and being excited at the idea of arresting people that work at a newspaper because they reported on the news? What? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, again, I ask you this. Where do we go from here? The ideal, like, I don't know, the only thing I can think of is mandatory re-education, right? Pay people to go to school. Everyone. If you are an adult in the United States, I don't care if you're 18, I don't care if you're 80, every single adult, mandatory re-education will pay you. They have paid time off from work. You know, we'll make it work. We can figure this out on a planning level. We pay people to go to school and to learn an updated fact sheet. Again, you have 73-year-olds going out there saying, biology, but you don't believe in biology. The transgenders are gonna kill biology. Right, they don't know what the fuck that means. When was the last time they read a fucking biology textbook? Like, before we even knew what DNA was? You know what I mean? Like, so, like, again, how do we fix this problem of Americans being fucking stupid. Let's be honest. The only way is mandatory re-education. That's it. That's it. That's one of the only ways. But again, there's going to be enough people that are going to be resistant to that. They're going to be like, oh, the liberals are trying to educate me or whatever, blah, 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 right? So what do we do with those people, right? Well, we just, like, honestly, the most moral way to go about this is to just wait until they die. To contain them in some fashion and wait until they die off. Now, again, I'm not saying we kill them. Obviously, I'm not saying that, right? But again, boomers are more likely to be right-wing, right? Give it another 10 to 15 years. People like Donald Trump in that age range, right? That level of, like, they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone. So what we need to do is, again, we need to plug up the holes on the sinking ship and then just wait for the water to evaporate. Now, again, I would prefer to get the water out of the ship, but hey, waiting for it to evaporate, that's a compromise, right? So, I don't know. Think about it, though. Like, what other option is there? What other option is there to deal with these people? Like, I don't mind living my life walking around with people that disagree with me. That's fine. But when those people, quote unquote, disagree with me and their disagreement is advocating for my murder or my death or stalking me or making my life worse, I'm sorry, but that is not coexisting. That is not coexistence, right? Like being trans in this country, like, oh my God. The same people that are in favor of freedom want to make it illegal for me to go to a doctor. Like, that's crazy shit, right? They want to commit a genocide of all transgender people. They want to make it so trans people aren't allowed to go to the doctor. They want to make it so trans people aren't allowed to out themselves unless, for fear of going to conversion therapy, right? And this is a party of freedom. How can we coexist with this fucking shit, right? I don't know. I have no answer. I have none. All I know is I'm going to sit back and watch, because this fucking shit is going to get juicy. Holy fucking moly. Let me tell you, this country is not going to last another 10 years at this rate. 15 years maybe. But, like, we are fucked. And again, just to be very clear, not in the good dick way. We are not being fucked in any sort of pleasurable fashion whatsoever. There's no dicks involved, okay? And so that's a problem. We need to get more dicks involved, right? We need to bring back the good kind of fucking, and this country needs one of those, let me tell you. So, Jesus Christ.